festive season celebrations are continuing. Lifeguards, police and paramedics are expected to have their hands full as today marks the unofficial beach day. But to get more on that, let's cross to our reporter, Dason Thafia, who is in Durban. Good afternoon to you, Dason. Let's just talk about the activities, perhaps, some of them that have been taking place today from where you stand.
Well, Tumelo, we are on the north coast. We're at Salt Rock, in fact, and this beach is completely packed. But I just want to turn your attention to something that's happening up in the sky right now. Now, this is a simulation. It's an exercise with LenMed and IPSS, and they are showing us exactly how a rescue from the water takes place. I have Paul Herbst with me from IPSS, and he's going to talk me through what we're seeing now. Paul, just explain to me exactly what's taking place.
So, Karen, this is what we call a long line rescue. So it's a rope hanging on the belly of the helicopter with a rescuer at the bottom. She'll be lowered down into the water to the swimmer. That's obviously the victim, and then use a strop to put around him and then lift him up from the water onto safe ground. This is obviously a very quick maneuver of doing a rescue. We normally use these rescues for places where there's a mesh rescue or where there's a confined space where you can't get any boats or jet skis into the water. We do this type of rescues.
This looks like daredevil stuff, eh?
Look, it is. Luckily, with our partners, Black Eagle Aviation, LenMed, we're able to do this type of training on a regular basis. It also brings some ease to the swimmers in the North Coast area. With Cruiser Lifeguards, they can see what we're capable of, and puts them their minds at ease.
So I imagine this is also a collaboration then with the lifeguards that are stationed along these beaches.
100%. We work very closely with Cruiser Lifeguards, Bongani and his team. They actually do the training with us. So you'll normally see there's a Patterson in the helicopter explaining to the pilot how far he must go down, up or left. And then the lifeguard will be at the end of the line, either with one of the IPSS rescuers or would be one of the lifeguards as well.
And Paul, there's no better time to talk about water safety than now, when we have thousands of people on these beaches, like on the one that we are on now. Just what are some of the dangers that people are encountering, or maybe what are some of the precautions that they should be taking?
Look, we can't stress the fact more that only swim in manned beaches, don't swim in unmanned beaches. Lifeguards are there for a reason. If you're not a good swimmer, don't go out far, and don't do it when you have consumed any sort of alcohol. And as I said, swim at main beaches where there's lifeguards.
And incidents around this time of year, the last time we spoke, it was at the drowning incident where Siyabonga Ndlovu was missing, and you said to me that children are also some of the victims, or mostly the victims, that you find in these types of cases.
That's correct. So, yeah, so when I went back to the stats, Siyabonga actually became the 16th statistic for this year. And something silly, just swimming in the river, got into difficulty with his friends and got swept away.
Paul, just as this exercise starts to wrap up, just talk me through now what will be taking place just as they get closer to the shore.
So there's now current communication between the Patterson in the helicopter to the pilot to make sure that the line isn't swinging too much for the rescuers. They'll now come up to dry land, to a space where they'll drop the victim and the rescuer on the beach. They'll eject the line, and then the pilot will go back to a landing zone.
And Paul, this just reminds me a lot of our time in Mozambique when you were doing this out of those choppers there. Thank you very much, Paul Herbst, just taking us through what we're seeing. This is a simulation exercise that has attracted a lot of attention at Salt Rock. I think many people here actually think that there is a crisis that's unfolding, but IPSS has been reassuring the public and just saying that this is a readiness exercise, and it also just shows their capabilities. And for now, there are no incidents where we are.
And Dason, I mean, just looking at some of the beachgoers behind you, paying attention to the simulation just shows that perhaps it is effective. I mean, getting people's attention so they are on high alert. Should anything happen, they know, of course, that they need to stand by and be on the lookout for any danger. But thank you for that, Dason Thafia, our reporter in Durban.